Welcome to Clause 8, the #1 podcast on intellectual property, trusted by top in-house counsel, judges, and policymakers worldwide. Hosted by Eli Mazour, we bring you in-depth conversations with the personality shaping IP. Brought to you by TradeSpace, where ideas take flight.
Hi, Keith. Thank you for coming on Clause 8. Can you tell us a little bit about your company, your role, and how does IP play in all that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a senior patent counsel at Grail. We are a cancer screening company.
There's a lot of conversations these days about whether the patent system is providing necessary protections for diagnostics. I guess, how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is the thing that I think about pretty much every day. So I work very strongly in our prosecution team. So I'm drafting applications and writing responses. So I'm dealing with a lot of the one-on-one issues that I'm sure everyone in the space is. But Grail is, I like to joke that we're right at the middle of that Venn diagram between all the different judicial exceptions. So we get triple rejected every time. And it's really educating the examiners on what our technology is and where those material improvements are is really kind of our primary strategy right now. But overall, yeah, the diagnostic space is we're in a bad spot as far as the official doctrines from the USPTO.
And I'm guessing you're in the middle of those Venn diagrams because you guys are using AI. Is that kind of a part of that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We use machine learning models that we don't think generative, but it is the now traditional deep learning approaches to picking that up. And so it fits in with biomarkers that are in the blood already, so natural phenomena, mental processes of running an algorithm, and the mathematical formula of training and running these models. It's a nightmare.
So what could be done to kind of give you more confidence that you kind of can build a patent portfolio that can kind of help Grail go
Yeah, I think part of it is, there's leaving our options open because there's always talks of reform in terms of just adding clarity to the space. And so if we were able to know for sure that no one else in our space would be able to acquire these assets, then we might feel more comfortable allowing certain cases to lapse. But for now, it's sort of up in the air as to exactly where things are going to land. So we spent a lot of time with strong disclosures, obviously doing all the things that you would expect in terms of providing strong write-ups of our technology, but also keeping options open and taking advantage wherever we can of finding ways to make our case at the patent office in any way possible, including appeals and lengthy discussions with examiners.
Beyond 101, is there any other IP issues that are kind of keeping you up at night?
Yeah, the one that really comes to mind is I refer to it as knowledge management, which is sort of a buzzword that means something different to everyone, but really understanding what is actually in our portfolio. So we get requests all the time that are along the lines of, hey, we want to publish this we want to submit this new publication to a journal. Do we have patent coverage of this? Which requires both understanding what's in the publication and understanding what's in our portfolio. And that's a spot where I think AI can really be beneficial. Whether that's using commercially available tools to analyze your portfolio or using homegrown solutions to really get in and help provide almost that conversation with your knowledge base about what is actually in there. And we've had some success. Mixed results, it's always a trust but verify with these tools, but we've had some good luck there.
And I guess somebody else who might be hearing this and they're like, all right, I want to have some luck with that. Any suggestions about where to start or kind of?
Talk to your engineers. If you have folks on the engineering team who are super excited about generative AI, about AI-based searching, or I think it's retrieval augmented generation, talk to them about it and see what solutions they can propose because they'll be the ones who can give you the use cases. To me, AI always comes down to the use case. This is cool technology. It's great. I love it. I have a background in computer science. I'm always down for interesting algorithms and interesting outputs, but from a business perspective, I have to know what the use case is. And they made some strong pitches and they were able to work within the company to put together some prototypes and some proof of concept.
That's a pretty cool story of success with that because sometimes you hear that they're competing demands on engineers like that with that kind of talent within companies.
We had a couple folks who they basically said, I'm doing this in my free time anyway, so let me pitch it up the chain. And it was part of an initiative to it's efficiency across the board, right? When it works great. And we're trying to get there.
That's pretty cool. Any other pain points about something that within your job that you're like, it's taking me way too much time? I wish there was a solution for that kind of.
For me, conversations I've been hearing a lot of have to do with improving the day-to-day operations of drafting responses and being able to respond both by volume, but also by the merit of your arguments, and kind of take a much more regimented approach to that. That is obviously not something that a human can do. Just we only have so many hours in a day, right? But being able to, attack the rejections from the patent office in a way that requires just extreme diligence. That it's interesting approaches. I'm curious to see how the examiners respond to them. But certainly, if I could find a way to shorten the time that I'm spending drafting responses significantly and have it be more editing focused, I'm all for trying those out. But that is to be determined as far as I'm concerned.
That's interesting because you brought up, obviously, you're doing a lot of examiner interviews and even kind of how to communicate with them effectively in terms of what are the responses that are working for particular examiners and what are the kind of the points that the strategies that might work for someone that work for others.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been using tools to try and understand examiner preferences and examiner behavior to see beyond just this guy's got an allowance rate of 5% or this woman seems much more reasonable. It really to understand what types of arguments work. And I haven't seen solutions that really get to that in a systemic way, but definitely in terms of understanding our own success points, it really does come down to understanding. Examiner Smith is a big fan of making arguments using this type of approach. Examiner Johnson hates that and would prefer something else. And I think there's an opportunity there to anyone listening who can provide a platform that can help with that understanding of the deep textual analysis of the responses that are filed and how the examiners respond and how that correlates to allowance and success at the patent office.
Hopefully a more lighter question, any favorite patent and invention within your company outside of it that kind of stands out to you?
So I'm a lifelong video game player. I've been playing since I was like 4 years old. And following the conversations in that space from an IP perspective is always fascinating. And so the one that comes to mind to me is maybe not favorite, but I think most notable to me is Warner Media has a patent on what they called the Nemesis System, which was from this Lord of the Rings game. That the basic idea was that as you develop strategies that are effective against a certain type of enemy, the enemy gets stronger and that enemy starts to target you and to really seek you out. It's a great idea. It's something you can only do in video gaming, right? Because you can't it doesn't work in a board game, doesn't work in a movie. But they have a patent on it, which meant that no other serious player was using it. And it was this thing that like emerged in the culture of why is no one else doing this idea? And then all of a sudden you have all these people angry on Twitter or X that are mad at Warner Media for having this patent on this thing that everybody liked. And so to me, what I think is notable about it is that it definitely helps educate kind of the population about IP, right? Because it's this abstract concept, but it started discussions and it started people getting educated and people are getting attracted to the patent space because of this silly little patent on a video game invention. It's one of those things that I think it's important to remember that my company we do have a product that benefits consumers, but there are so many other little details in everyday life that are being covered by patents and by inventions that just don't come up all that often. So that's one that I'm sure that if this ends up on social media, that someone's going to find that and get real mad at that. But I think it's an important patent. I think it's an important one to a hobby that I take very seriously.
A very cool story of patent success. So. We'll
I don't know that they ever asserted it, but it definitely slowed down other companies' approaches to taking that idea. So
respecting IP is what kind of fuels innovation. So that's great to hear. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining and kind of telling a bit of your story.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure.
All right. This was great. Appreciate it.